Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. It's episode 460. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here with Lucy.
Hello.
Hey, and Aadil.
Hey.
As we say, we're a video game and craft beer podcast. Let's open some beers and talk about some video games. Lucy, got a beer this evening? Are you drinking anything tonight?
No, I'm drinking tea.
Nice, okay, fair.
I promise maybe on the next podcast. I haven't had a drink all year, so
Oh, really?
Yeah,
done well.
It's neither well or not well. Like, sobriety is not for me. It's just boring. Just like, I think it's only for someone if they've had a problem before, which fair enough if you're teetotal for that reason, but otherwise it's just like boring. But it has been boring this year. The weather has been wretched.
Yes, it has. Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, but it's spring soon, so it'll be clearing up. So
yeah, we've had a couple of sunny days over the last week before. But that's about it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Fair.
just a cup of tea.
Fair.
Normal English breakfast.
Nice. Aadil, what are you drinking?
I've got a rather unique beer. It's from Twice Brewed. It's their Fauna Beer Rouge. It is an oaked red and grape cherry ale. 7% red fruit beer, packed full of red grape and cherry. This decadent fruit beer also delivers flavors of damson and blackberry, all rounded out with a hint of oak and spice.
Lovely.
Barley,
Nice.
wheat, cherry juice, red grape juice, plum, hops, and yeast. But a lovely throwback-ish.
Yeah.
Like advertisings of German and Belgian.
I was going
beers.
to say very sort of
Yeah,
Central
is-
European kind of can, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a creek beer or is it
They just call it a red
cherry?
fruit beer,
Oh,
but the cherry is the third ingredient. Fourth
Okay.
if you lose the water.
interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I feel like this is probably pretty standard to our tastes and the beers we drink. I'm drinking a beer from Salt called Double Drip. But the drip has a second P on, because why not? It's a double IPA, it's 8%. It says, for the beer itself, extra juicy, extra dank, extra drippy. We've amped up our much-loved Drip IPA to the next level, packing loads of Mosaic, Citra, and Enigma hops into the seriously hefty double IPA. Prepare yourself for heaps of passion fruit, papaya, and mango flavours, with bags of oats for a thick yet smooth mouthfeel. Paired with a super refreshing finish, Double Drip is about to become your new favourite drop. Double P, of course. So yeah, a double IPA for me this evening, because why not? I think this will cut through the bottle of red wine that I've had already. It's Sundays. I don't know why Sundays have turned into like a bottle of red wine.
I mean, it could be way worse. You could be doing things like, I don't know, preparing for Monday, but you're doing fun things like
Mate,
drinking
I've already
wine.
done several emails and some drawing work for an hour.
Well, you need the
this
wine
evening.
to balance that
Oh,
out.
yeah, maybe,
So yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe I should make wine Sundays. Not wine, because I can't stand the stuff.
Red
but,
wine Sundays, mate. We'll make it a thing.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. Yeah.
That's true. It's true. What does
Yeah.
roll off the tongue? Sobriety
Sake
Sundays.
Sundays.
No,
No,
Sundays,
no.
yes.
It's- I mean, if there's any time to drink, it's the day before work where you got 5 days worth of it.
Yes. We'll roll round. Aadil, Twice Brewed. What's it like?
So the pour was about 2 fingers of head, which has already gone down to about a half finger. It's this lovely, slightly purpley red color. On the pour, I could smell some berry. On the nose itself, oh, that's really good. You get the oak and the berries, and I think the red grape juice. Yeah, there's a slight sweetness in there. That sort of, but mostly I think the grapes are rounding out the cherries, so it's not just like a hit of cherry. It's
Nice.
much more like berry, like default berry. But yeah, you get the ale is coming through on the nose really, really well, and like I said, a touch of that oakiness. So it smells like a beer, and not just fruit.
Just a sweet overload.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So it's quite for 7%. It's quite wet. I would have clocked this at like 4, just based on the texture.
Is it thin?
Yeah, it's a bit thin. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. This might be influenced by the fact that you mentioned a bottle of red wine, but I am getting that like red winey tanniny
Mm-hmm.
taste and a bit of the texture. It's super drinkable. I wish the ale. So here I'm getting a lot more of the cherries, and it might need my mouth to acclimatize because right now there's this moment where I'm getting cherry cough syrup just because of the bitterness of the ale coming through as the cherry is still quite strong. So the like initial hit has a touch of sweetness, a bit of that grape, and then that disappears after a bit. And then you're like, ah, yes, this is an ale, but the cherry is quite forward as well. So there's a moment
Mm.
of a bit cough syrupy. It's not that long of a moment, but it's there and it's a bit jarring. Um, Smaller sips, you're getting the sweetness and the grape a lot coming through a lot more. Finish is honestly, uh, yeah, I think one of the reasons why it feels kind of more cough syrupy is I'm not getting lingering ale notes, and my mouth is feeling dried out.
Okay.
Which is a little bit like it's like the combination of flavors is just making me want to replace it. And so which is not ideal, I would say, for something that right now every sip I still have to hold myself against that tussin taste.
Yes.
But that's becoming smaller and smaller as each sip happens. Um, and a bit of that sweetness and grape is lingering a bit more. So maybe my palate just needs to sort itself out. It's good. It is kind of, I guess maybe I was expecting something a bit more like a creek and a bit sweeter. And it really is just that like grape juice-y sweetness, and the rest isn't sweet at all. And I think so. I think maybe I'm just had a bit of a misaligned, let's say,
Sure.
expectation.
Yeah.
Um, uh, it's mostly now I'm worried about how it's 7%. And I keep being like, oh yeah, because it's again the texture is quite light and like thin.
What's the carbonation like? Like, because it's still holding decent amount of head there,
Yeah.
isn't it? So.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's very small bubbles. And I think that's the alcohol making that ring of head cling to the sides because the rest is quite actually it's flatter than you would think.
Yeah.
Well, it's still like it's still carbonated, but it's much more like a cask red ale than like a kegged red ale, we'll say, right? Like
Right.
Interesting.
it's got
Okay.
bubbles. They're there. Every sip I take, I'm like, yes, this is a bubbled drink, but not a bubbly drink.
Yeah. Because that's like what I expect from a creek, like just very, very fizzy,
Yeah,
very fizzy,
boisterous.
quite sweet. Yeah, boisterous. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
word to
and
use.
this is sort of this is a
Not.
reserved beer
Yeah.
given it the initial stance of red fruit beer, right?
Mhm.
It is an ale, and it has the red fruit, and the red fruit's doing interesting things. I'm hoping that the ale part will come out a bit more. It still tastes like a beer, right? It's not like fruit sours in that sense of this is just a fruity drink that happens to be alcoholic. But it is a bit too reserved on the ale side for my taste
Mhm.
currently.
Cool. Okay. Fair. We will return to it later then and see how it's fared as you've drank through it. The salt then for me is, I mean, it smells like a tropical double IPA. It's got a very sweet nose, lots of mango in there. That's sort of the main flavour coming through on the nose, at least. But yeah, super sweet. It did pour with a little bit of head, but that's dissipated really, really quickly. As you can see, as you would expect, it's pretty orange in colour. It's lovely and smooth. Oh, wow. Okay. That's much more like fruit juice than I was expecting. It's a little carbonated, but that kind of mango and definitely the papaya coming through on that flavour is really big. And kind of, apart from a little bit of a finish, not much, but a little bit of a slightly dank, a slightly piney finish. That's just a big, big hit of juice. And not much more happening at the moment. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that this was 8%. I can't remember what else they said about it. Passion fruit, yeah, it is passion fruit, yeah, papaya and mango. So you're getting that sweetness, real sweetness, kind of in there. It doesn't really sour in any way at all. Just sort of maintains that sort of sweetness. Whereas maybe you have a fruit juice and it gets a little pithy. Perhaps sort of after you've had a glass or a few sips. This is getting a little pithy towards the end. That slight bit of pine, that little bit of dank is creeping in at the end. But it is just a lot of fruit. Big, big fruit flavour. It's very nice. It's a lovely mix of fruit. But it's I think we always want big, bold flavours. This is unfortunately just not a good beer, let's say. You don't know it's a beer. If you just sipped it, if you pick this up off the table and sipped it, you think, oh, this is fruit juice that's just maybe been sat out just a little bit too long, perhaps.
Right.
Rather than it having those elements of a beer. If it had a danker kind of finish to it. If it was maybe a little more carbonated than it is, then absolutely this would hit just that little bit, and you'd think, oh, this is a juice bomb, but it doesn't have enough of those beer qualities to it to kind of lean it into it. It is just slightly sat out fruit juice at the moment. I don't know if that will change as my palate climatizes, as those fruit flavors just start to fade a little bit with it being poured. That finish might start to show itself a little bit more, or other things that are kind of going on might show themselves a little bit more. But it's nice. It's a little bit creamy. That's about it at the moment.
One-dimensional.
Yes, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, I will caveat this by saying this is a supermarket beer. Because I haven't had a chance to get out. When I was there shopping yesterday, this was one of, I think, 4 I picked up. I think this, and then I got another Northern Monk in the fridge, which I think is another double IPA as well, were the 2 that I hadn't seen before. They were the only 2 new ones that I hadn't seen, so I thought I'd pick up a couple that I drank yesterday, and then this and the Northern Monk. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know, again, whether volume-wise, as we've talked about before, supermarket beers tend to be a little bit weaker in terms of their flavour.
I haven't had a beer from a supermarket in ages, but I did look the other day.
Yeah.
And, gosh, was it a Tesco? Or was it I think it was a Tesco, but like the range was just, there wasn't a range.
Yeah.
It was like 2 vocation beers, maybe 2 Northern Monk beers, and not much else.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just the ones near me. I don't know.
Just starting to dial back a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, because I haven't been to the beer shop in months, so it's like I was just looking for something, anything.
Yeah.
any port in a storm. But yeah, I was just like, none of these are probably worth my time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll drink these. We'll see how they fare through the episode, and we'll move on to chatting about some video games. Lucy, you've not been with us last week, and it's been a few weeks since we recorded, even before last week. So, is there any games you want to highlight? Anything you have played that's kind of captured your attention?
Yeah, I've actually been playing games.
Ooh.
Isn't that a
Ooh, that's
foreign
exciting.
concept? I know. But yeah, I've played a lot. I've probably played more this year than I did the whole of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go through them all. Let me actually talk about the game that I was actually sent a code for, and I
Okay.
should speak about it.
Solid
It
stuff.
was Inkle's game called TR49.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
knocking about the start of this year. Like it was one of those early January releases. It's a, what would you call the genre of like her story, looking up things kind of game?
Like a
Narrative
narrative
detective
research.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
not all of them are detectives, but I don't think research is a traditional genre. But it does feel like there are detective games that aren't research games, and there's definitely some that aren't researchy games that aren't detective games.
Yeah, because I played the Root Trees Are Dead, which came out
Oh,
last year.
some of
That was
it.
pretty good, but that was yeah, that felt more detective-y than this game.
Mm.
This is
I guess, is there like a mystery or that you're solving, or are you discovering information? Does that make sense?
I think it's more you are discovering information. I think where the Root Trees Are Dead is like, okay, this is, yes, both games have an endpoint,
Hmm.
but Root Trees Are Dead is more like in the Obra Dinn, okay, if you get three things right, you know, then it's locked in and it's like you have to find, basically it's, without talking about Root Trees Are Dead too much, it's basically from that family tree,
Mm.
genealogical
Yeah.
chart,
Yeah.
and then you basically have to get. Do you have to get all family members, or at least most of them, to reach the conclusion of the game? Whereas this, and maybe her story, is more like, okay, you're searching for this one particular, like in her story it was like a one particular video, in this it's at one particular book, because it's about searching for all these different books, and authors and publishing dates, so it's basically being able to find that particular book. So there is like a point where it's like, oh, you can end the game if you stumble upon that potentially earlier than um, maybe the game intended. I think I pretty much had a as expected kind of trajectory through the game.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's set in the backdrop of like you're in this bunker. It's sort of got like it's post World War Two, but it's sort of like I think the machine, which is like kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a microfilm kind of like it's something that you find in a library, and a library
Mm-hmm.
only nowadays, where it's this very, it's got a great, sense of tactility. Like each time you search, it's two letters and then two numbers. Like the game's called TR49, so the first two letters are the uh, first name and surname of the author, and the numbers are the year it's
Okay.
published. Um,
Okay.
So, and yeah, you basically key in those numbers. It's got a really good tactile, like ka-chunk, like feel to it. So yeah, the set dressing and the kind of stuff like that. Considering it's just like one screen and you're just in a bunker with this, you know, way back machine,
Mm.
and it's like, oh, I don't know what's going on around me, but it's basically like there's some, you're underground. There's some, I don't really know the quite the context of it, because it's told in like kind of radio play. There's a voice on the other end, and that's the only voice you hear, and they're relaying bits of information throughout the story, so you're not exactly getting the whole picture
Mm.
immediately and all the context and background around it. So it's like, what's going on up there? Why am I down here? Um, Someone probably a bit more, what's the word, like studious, or you know, uh, smart smarter than me would probably be like, oh, this game is about censorship and like because it's about World War II, the book burnings and all this, and it's very important that we catalog all the works that we have, and that's what this machine was doing, and it's basically cataloging all these different works that would have been ruined and lost to time, etc., etc. And I'm just like, 4-digit alphanumeric code goes in, I find things, my brain lights up. But yeah, so the narrative at the end, because it starts going into this kind of like, without getting too spoilery, it's like, I think it's a bit like her story. You take from that story what you want from it.
Mm-hmm.
It may not necessarily be maybe what the developers intended, or you know, there's probably several more layers, you know, of like actually thinking about it philosophically and stuff like that. But I'm just like, yeah, you know, books are good and we should keep them around, and it's good that we, you know, books hold power, and you know, this search for this one singular book that basically can, you know, go into like the change space-time continuum. I think that's the game goes in like some weird places. It's like, okay, cool, but it's like, you know, all this astrophysics and, you know, quantum science and mechanics and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on, but I just know that I have to search for this one book. And yeah, searching for, you know, you're obviously not going to stumble upon it immediately. You're having to go through all these different authors and publishing dates, and you have stuff like, oh, it brings in like common sense elements and a bit of maths, where it's like, okay, this author was born, you know, this year, and then they published these series of books, this trilogy, when they were in their teenage years, let's say, or something like that. So it's like, okay, do a bit of maths, and then they were born here, and then it's like, okay, plus 13, whatever, and you get this, you know, and you eventually figure things out that way, and then that leads on to, you know, when that, you know, entry comes up, it might mention another author, it might mention another type of books, another set of trilogies, this and that. So it's like all these interconnecting authors and how they, you know, in the real world interacted, and how, you know, they developed theses about, you know, quantum mechanics or stuff like this and all that. It you know, it unravels in a satisfying way.
Nice.
And it's a case of when you find one of the entries, it's basically like kind of blurred and skewed. So in order to reveal it, you have to match the title of the book to the entry. And then when you do, you playing as the protagonist, can't remember what her name is, she's already, you know, she basically gives you verbal confirmation that it's right, and then the text de-blurs or whatever, and then it reveals that, and then you can search for more things and stuff like that. So essentially it is just like, oh, I'm looking through a catalogue of all these books and slowly unraveling this kind of underlying but not too important story, and getting to this one book that, you know, basically can destroy the world, destroy time. Something like that. Yeah.
There's sudden high stakes in this.
Yeah. Like there's, I don't know, World War III going on above you. The Nazis may or may not be involved. I have no idea. And it's like, you know, well, this book could save humanity as we know it, or something like that. Basically, like the Enigma machine, isn't it? Where it's like a lot of stakes and everything hinges on cracking this one code. So as I say, it draws a lot from, like, you know, actual World War, you know, II kind of context and stuff like that. But yeah, it holds your interest.
Nice.
Apparently the game was made in 9 months, and it's Inkle's best-selling game.
Oh wow, really?
So that's, you know, really good. I think it just comes at a time where it's like people want those kind of detective games. You know, I'm sure a lot of people played The Root Trees Are Dead last year, like stuff like Case of the Golden Idol and stuff. I think there's a hunger for those kind of games, and as I say, the set dressing and everything like that, even though it's very simple, it's, as I say, that like the tactile nature of that machine and the voice acting's good, and you know, it's all in a very nice little wrapper. So yeah, I enjoyed my time with it.
Good. Obviously, Inkle very good at narrative games.
Yeah.
I think all of us played 80 Days when it, you know, if not within the first year, kind of release. That's been out for 10 years, maybe.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
2015 September.
2015. Okay. So yeah, just over 10 years, 10 and a half years. And interestingly, I would have thought 80 Days would have been like their best selling, just because of the time that it's been out. It's on mobiles, it's on Steam, it's kind of everywhere. And it is a fantastic little game. But that's really, really nice to sort of see, because Inkle's sort of journey's been interesting because they've maintained that narrative. You know, Heaven's Vault kind of came out a few years after 80 Days, and you know, mixed reviews perhaps, but again, very narrative kind of focused. A lot of the puzzles are around language and the words and figuring out that side of things, which I know we enjoy, but isn't maybe sort of more of a mass market kind of thing. So for them to then put out, I think last year or year before, I think a couple of you played, well, one of you at least played Highland Song, because I remember a conversation about it. Yes.
Really,
I still need to get, I need to get to that.
Again, a narrative game, but slightly different in its package, at least, and the other kinds of things that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that game was super cool because it was platforming and exploring.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was a storytelling game, right? You were just sort of, you were instrumental for the details of the story, right? And your sort of progress changed things, but ultimately it's about you trying to get to Lighthouse, I think it was, right? Like where your dad was or whatever. But like that end goal is like not that important to the story, except for that's what you're trying to do, and you're having to deal with day, night, and injuries, and climbing, and random people you meet in the middle of the Highlands as you're trekking through the mountains, because you're this precocious young girl who is like sort of running away, but like in a less generic sense, I guess. Yeah, it was really, really, really good. I remember my first like 4 or 5 hours of that game was on a plane.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to see them kind of keeping that narrative thread sort of in their games, and I'll come into a thing I saw shortly in a moment, but that their delivery method is evolving or changing, and is kind of different every time. So you can go, great, I really like Inkle's, you know, narrative storytelling in the games that they've got, but every single experience is different because it has that different play style for kind of everything. It's asking you to do different things almost every time, and something like TR49 is now on my wish list, and absolutely is kind of like you know, I love this sort of thing where you are uncovering stuff, you're searching for things, you're using that little bit of logic, that little bit of brain power, just to kind of understand and trace things through, almost follow the thread. And you know, I think Immortality was one of my favorite games from a couple of years ago, because it has that, even though the narrative is huge in that, and again, building off of her story, it had that other layer of stuff in Immortality where suddenly you're scrolling through videos and something clicks, or you hit a point and then this other video plays, hidden inside the video. And does TR49 ever get sort of meta in any kind of way, or is it quite sort of straightforward and actually you're sort of just following things through?
It does. There are hints of that, not to the extent of Immortality. That's a game that I respect more than I like. Immortality, and another one where it's like, smarter people than me are probably you know, writing dissertations on this, and I'm like, scary woman has devil horns or something like that. But Yeah, it does get a little meta,
Okay,
um,
nice.
especially towards the end. So
Hmm.
there are things to uncover. It isn't just like, okay, you're in a dusty library
Yeah.
searching for books. Yeah,
Good.
there's a bit
Good.
more intrigue. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. And Inkle have been sort of on my mind for the last week, maybe a week or two, because they've just
Mhm.
released a book as well, a short collection of essays all about narrative design
Oh,
in game. I think it's
Oh,
called
good.
interesting.
Kaleidoscope. Okay, I was on Blue Sky. I saw it.
Very good.
Where are they, Inkle? Inkle.
They
No.
they occupy the same space as like I guess like Double Fine for me, where it's like
Okay.
I guess there are some Double Fine games that I really enjoy, but it's like I probably respect their games more than I wholly enjoy them.
Hmm.
But I'm so glad that they're still around. You know,
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I
and
think
the
it very
industry
much
needs them.
very much depends on the game, like we're saying, because the delivery method of that narrative is different sort of every time. Some
Mhm.
games will hit more than others for certain people,
True,
and it is
true.
just I enjoy a 2D side scroller. I enjoy a slightly more sort of text based narrative. I enjoy Heaven's Vault, the open world sort of exploration type thing. Everything is slightly different, and you'll find that one game will
Mhm.
just hit that little bit more for you as
Yeah.
it will do for others. But yes, their book is called The Game Narrative Kaleidoscope, and it is 100 or over 100 essays on writing and narrative design from people all across the industry. So
All right. Okay. Interesting.
yes, it's
That's
gone on
cool.
my list of books. So even though I've got a backlog, I mean I've got 3 books right by the bed, which one's halfway through, one I've slightly started, and another which hasn't even been touched yet. So I'll just add to the pile. Same as games, just buy books and just add them to the pile.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
get to
Mhm.
things one day.
The
Good.
to read pile was the original backlog for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nice. Good. Okay, let's move on. Can I talk a little bit about what I've been playing? I'm going to say a little bit. I will probably just go now for like 20 minutes.
I'll
Yeah.
get
Go
ready.
for it. Yeah.
I have last weekend, end of last episode, I finished by saying I was going to play the marathon
Oh
server
yeah.
slam, server hit,
Server
server
Slam,
something,
yeah.
and I did. I spent the weekend playing. I played about an hour and a half, and within marathon, which is for those who don't know, an extraction shooter, you go
Oh,
in.
is it?
Yes, mate. Yes, it's a
Right,
first-person
okay.
extraction shooter.
Right. Okay.
So you get dropped in a group of 3, and you run around the map, pick up loot, do some stuff, and then try and extract by hitting a like a pylon, a beacon of some kind, and then it has a minute countdown, and then you have to be within the circle, which is about 4 or 5 meters around this pylon, and you will get lifted out of the space. Very similar to all extraction shooters. I played that, and on the server slam, I don't think I extracted once from the game. Killed by other people, killed by the robot AI, game kind of creatures, and I came out of that feeling like I don't know. Actually, I'm not really sure whether this is good. I went back to Battlefield and I played Battlefield, and it came out on Thursday, 6:00.
The server slammer jammer or whatever
No,
it
so
is.
the server slam finished on Monday, and then the game released on Thursday.
The game is
So
out.
the game is
I
out.
didn't know the game was out. I thought it was still.
No, it's out.
Dated.
It's not too much fanfare. Interestingly, it hasn't been
I
advertised
heard
very
more
much.
about people talking about the slam than I
Yep.
did about it being released.
So what? The server slammer jammer was right before the release.
Yes, it was like the weekend before it was going to release.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was still in beta.
It's it hasn't released its final map, so it's released as a £35 game, and it's still got some obviously free. There's another map to come, which is going to be the like almost end game, as Bungie sort of suggest. But I finished it. Didn't really think it was for me. Thought about it constantly all week. I played other things. I played a bit of Spider-Man 2. I played some Battlefield 6. And I'm like, no, I'm thinking about it. And it released at 6 o'clock on Thursday. And at 5:50, I bought it. I'm like, fuck it, no, I'm doing it.
You have so much restraint. It's quite incredible.
Mate, I have not stopped playing it. I have played and played. Something like towards the end of the service time, something kind of clicked that little bit. And I'm like, I am enjoying this. I can see what this is. And now I've been playing it. There is so much depth to the game. It's almost like a TR-49, a Her Story kind of thing. There are so many layers in terms of the narrative that you unlock the more and more that you play, the more runs that you do, the things that you pick up in the environment, the missions that you're able to kind of do.
I really think someone's gonna. This may not be the time, but someone needs to explain to me what an extraction shooter is.
So, the very quick thing: you're in a map, and you've got a 25-minute countdown. And if you don't get out of the map and hit one of these pylons to extract within that 25 minutes, you die. And you lose all of the equipment that you have and all of the loot that you have picked up. You also lose
crystal maze.
Almost, yes. You also lose it if you get killed in the map. So if you get killed by the environment, by the other players, they can loot all of your shit. Right, and take it for themselves, and then extract out of the map. But it's so it's interesting because of the amount of different players that I've played with, and the different play styles that they kind of have in terms of how they not necessarily play the runners, which are kind of characters that all have different abilities that you are when you can play, but more in terms of how they actually approach moving through the environment and engaging with other teams of players and engaging with the AI sort of enemies and things. And so I have tried to be like slowly cautious through the map. Don't get engaged too much. Don't take on fights that are too kind of big for me, because you're going into this run with, you've picked a gun, you've picked a couple of different bits that are kind of giving you enhancements to your abilities. You've got some ammo with you and some health packs and stuff. And then you've got to pick everything else up. And ammo is sparse and health packs are sparse. You can pick them up off of other players if you down them and things. But some players that I've played with are just like, bam, straight off. Let's find the first people we can and just try and shoot them. And ultimately everyone dies because I've got to go and support them. Otherwise, if they die, there's only 2 of us in our team, which is, we're more likely to then die if we come across a group of 3 people. So it's been a very interesting experience, but it's really enthralling, and it is both very chill and very tense in differing kind of moments. You can just be exploring across the map, and suddenly it absolutely kicks off and you have to be on it, and it just ramps right up. And the few times that I have extracted from the maps have been mere seconds to get into the circle. Today I was playing this morning, and the team that I was with, I was trying to, so there's missions as well every time you go in, and to do a mission, quite a lot of the time it's find this thing on the map, and you hack into this computer that's here on the map to get us some data. Cool, I can do that. And I was searching around the area and I could not find where I needed to be, to realize that the other 2 people had fucked off, and they were like 200 meters over there, and they were going to the next place. And I'm like, well, I'll just have to go with them, because if I'm caught by myself, I'm done. And I managed to catch them up. They were clearly picking up loot and not really doing the missions and things like this. And we got into a bit of a scuffle with another team. We managed to down them. Took some of their cool stuff, cool weapons and some of the sort of currency-ish type items that you sort of pick up. And the map, I can't tell you, so many minutes will up sort of the threat level and throw a bunch of computer-generated enemies in, environmental enemies in. And it started to get a little bit too much. And I hadn't realised that one of the other players on my team had activated the pylon, which had popped right next to us. Oh. And I turn around to see this circle. Both of them stood with this circle that had gone red, which means there's only 10 seconds left. And I just fucking bolted through this gunfire flying towards me because all of these enemies were just swarming in. And I managed to jump in with like 2 seconds left before it pumped up. And Kim's like, "Are you all right?" And because I'm literally there going, just because it's just, it can be so much. But it's fun. It's really, really fun just to have those little moments. And because it's only
funner, Titanfall.
Yeah.
Mate, I mean, in a sense, it's got that little slightly sluggish feel to it. Like it does feel a little bit twitchy, and the character that I play is a bit more of a.
Yeah, it's Bungie, isn't it?
It is Bungie,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I bet it feels good to play.
Oh man, it really does. The guns feel really good. The sound is so amazing. And it's obviously got this absurd, which I think is the thing that most people have taken away, this absolutely absurd neo cyberpunk like color-soaked world that and I think people have been calling it font slop. Where they've got a font slop, where you've got a screen, fonts, where you've got a screen and it's full of text, but all of the text is like there's 100 different styles of font on the screen at one time. So yeah,
sounds like migraine inducing.
I mean, it probably would be, Lucy. Absolutely, the colours are so big, it pops so much. And the moving, like everything is coming at you on the like loading screens, or the menus are atrocious, but they you know they're big, and I really like the fact that it has this, like, it's set 800 1,000 years into the future, so it's got this sort of slightly sci-fi, more cyberpunk aesthetic to it. But when you're looking at the records of things that you've unlocked, they're all in sort of old BBC and Apple, like black screen with green text on.
Oh, like old school.
Like old school terminal, sort of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's such a stark contrast to sort of everything else that I'm like, I'm going to sit here and just read it. Just going to take 5 minutes out of a run just to read the backstory of the UESC, or some of the different enemies that we found or fought and things, and it's just very, very engaging, and I find myself wanting to unlock more of these entries and do the missions and just uncover like what is going on, because it feels good to play, especially in these kind of short runs. One match I was in for 2 minutes, because we'd clearly popped in here and another enemy team had popped in here, and we obviously made our way towards each other, and they were just better than we were. So that run lasted 2 minutes, and I lost all of the stuff that I had. And I'm like, cool, one thing that this game is doing is also kind of instilling into me just to don't worry about your worldly possessions. Get rid of them. Doesn't matter. You've died. Just find some more and just crack on again, sort of thing. But there was a 2 minute run, and then I've lasted almost all 30. I think it's 30 minutes a run. Lasted almost all 30 minutes until we've got out, within the last minute, and extracted within the last minute of a run, sort of thing. So it changes quite a lot, but sometimes I'm just going to sit here, I'm just going to read all of the entries that have unlocked after the things that I've done, just calm down a little bit, and then go on my next run.
Does it have the leg spin? Where is it on the scale of Concord to Rainbow Six Siege?
I do not know. I would say it's
too early to tell.
At the moment, I would say it's in the middle. I don't know. I'm still playing Battlefield 6, right? That game released in October, so we're 6 months later, and I'm still playing Battlefield 6. And I know that has had quite a big player drop with other games kind of coming out. Marathon maybe is pulling a few players from Battlefield 6, but I can't imagine it's pulling many. It's a different kind of game. Obviously, Call of Duty will have pulled more
Ark
people.
Raiders? Was that an extraction?
Ark Raiders is an extraction shooter as well.
Do you think it will get that audience?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it will get that audience. Ark Raiders, I think, had, when the server slam was going on for Marathon, I think Ark Raiders and Marathon had about the same amount of players. I don't know whether with the release that has pulled across, at least on PC, because Ark Raiders is a PC game. Marathon is on not everything quite, but it's on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Gen.
Yeah.
I mean, Ark Raiders, one of the things is that the vibes of the emergent gameplay of the PvP, because the PvP isn't built in as a thing that has to happen, it means that, like, I've read a couple articles that actually made me like kind of pause, which was just like there are vibes, and like if people see you kill another player unprovoked, they will kill you.
Yes,
That's the default in Ark Raiders, right? Because and that's like something the developers couldn't have predicted. But it's if it's still like that, which it might not be, because as time goes on, only the sweatiest of players stick around, right? But like, I don't think that game would have that consistency it has had if that hadn't have happened with the player base.
Yep.
And if Marathon is built around, but if Marathon's built around, you are expected to kill people who aren't you, so it doesn't offer that question. But it means that it's a Bungie game and an extraction shooter, while Ark Raiders was an extraction shooter that could have felt a lot like what Marathon feels like currently, but then via the player base didn't turn into that. And part of that is the incentive structure isn't there in that game to necessarily kill people in the same way.
Sure, Marathon does have that. So it does have that incentive, because there are a bunch of missions that you can do which unlock cosmetics and do unlock faction. So there's 6 or 8 factions. There's a bunch of factions, and you do missions for all those factions, and some of those factions are very focused on killing other players. So it will be do damage to enemies. If you do them to other runners, you get more experience, and this will fill up quicker. And when you launch in, a lot of the times the message when you launch in will be, if you encounter other runners, shoot them before they shoot you. That kind of feel to it, and it is pushing that. But they do have proximity chat in Marathon. Not that I've ever heard anyone actually using it.
I was going to ask how the
I've never heard anyone talking, and I've not really been in a position, like most of the time I played it is with the kids around, so I can't really put my chat on, because all they hear is just children screaming, not screaming, but at least playing loudly in the background. But I've not heard anyone else, and it does at the moment feel very much like a shoot first, ask any questions if you're even going to bother later. The game is definitely pushing you to engage and fight other players, rather than for a nice harmonious map where no one shoots anyone, everyone just shoots the environmental enemies, and you get as much loot as you can, and all extract lovingly at the same time. That's not happened yet. I don't think I've extracted. No, I haven't extracted with any other players apart from my own team. So it's always been sort of firefights just before the extraction happens. Everyone's going for that point, because once the extraction's gone, once one person or one team has used it, that point is lost, and then more will pop up, at certain times on the map. So there's only so many so much availability.
I was like, why can't we all just get along and hop on the same ship?
I mean, you can. You all could. Like, if someone was, ringleader enough and had their proxy chat on and was actually talking kind of through the thing, if you could convince the other players not to shoot you, then there's the potential that you could all just extract. Everyone's got missions. You could just nicely go, I've got to go over here for my mission. You've got to go over there for your mission. Let's just get the things done, the objectives, because we can all level up. We can all go out with some nice loot. We can all have a lovely time.
That's basically what happened with Arc Raiders.
Yeah.
And part of that is that, like, you don't get anything direct. Like, the system isn't designed to reward you directly for killing people outside of, I think, like, loot drop or whatever. But also, prox chat is the default, and because it's a PC-only game, everyone's got a microphone. So I think you can have that organic emergence a lot more reliably, because it's just that's what computers have. Computers have microphones.
Absolutely. And when I started Marathon, this was the same on the Server Slam and on the main game. One of the first screens, when it throws you through sort of the accessibility options to start when you start the game up, you could choose whether to have proximity chats on or off. And so I chose on. I think in the Server Slam I chose off, but in the main game I've chosen on. But I've not turned my microphone on yet. I think perhaps if I get an evening where Kim is out of the room and is doing something else, yes, I'd be more inclined to turn it on and then start to chat to people. And my issue is I'm being thrown in with two other random players I've never spoken to before. We're not necessarily friends on any systems, and it's all cross play. So they could be on Xbox, they could be on PC. It's just a group of three random people. I could start chatting to them. Doesn't mean I'm going to get a response back from anyone. So far, people have been quite good at. So you press up on the D-pad to ping areas on the map or areas sort of in the environment around you. People are quite good at confirming. So you're like, I want to go here. People ping and say, yes, let's do that. So there is a sense of that kind of, cool, someone wants to do the thing. Let's go and do the thing. And there is you hold down up and it will bring up a bunch of standard responses. So like, yes, thank you, follow, attack, these kinds of things. So there is a very basic sort of chat system within it as well, which I've used a little bit. But again, used a little bit to not much response from people. But pinging stuff seems to be, within everyone's capability of going, oh yeah, all right, we'll do that. Or you ping something, someone confirms, and then your third player pings somewhere on the opposite side of the map because that's where they need to go. You're like, that's cool. We'll go over here. Two of us want to go over here. We'll do that first, and then we'll make our way across the map if we can to go and do the thing that you need to do.
So you say this is on all platforms?
Yes,
PS5,
PS5,
Xbox Series X, PC, but
Yep.
not S4
or Switches.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It harks back and it feels, when extraction shooters started to become a thing last year before, perhaps, Helldivers 2 and a few other sort of games that started to come out. I always thought back to The Division and the Dark Zone, and that being sort of my first. It probably wasn't my first experience of an extraction shooter, but it's very much the kind of pushed element.
Yeah, it's the looter shooter part without the extraction part.
The
Right?
Schluter.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
But it does have vague memories of The Division and how that again was when you're in the Dark Zone, you would slowly move through it. And you and I played together. We played a few rounds in the Dark Zone together, and we were chatting as we were kind of going. That's what I'm missing in Marathon so far. It's having a group of players to play with,
do the thing,
and to strategize with that little bit more. Because again, you find that if there's the three of you and you're not really talking, you want to go over here, you're all almost running in a straight line. I might go round this rock this side, you might go around that rock that side, but you're not sort of spreading out to make sure that you're getting to a point, checking for people, moving forward, checking for people, those kinds of things, the sorts of things that I'm kind of and have been doing in Battlefield more as I play with other sort of people. That the people that are sat now in Battlefield after 6 months are the ones who kind of that's the game that they're playing. They know how to play. They know how to push on objectives. They don't need to chat to other people. They just know the movements that they kind of should be doing, the places that they should be sitting, the points that they should be holding. They have that ingrained in them already. That, you know, in Battlefield, if you just spray and pray and just run around, you're not going to get very far. You're going to die pretty quickly. Whereas if you're with your team, you move up to a corner, you're all on slightly different points, you can shoot the team, you can kind of move up and take the objective. Everyone's at that point now in how they play the game. And I would think Marathon is probably on a similar trajectory to that. But how many players will be playing by the end of the month? I don't know. What other games are pulling them away from Marathon?
I guess it
Arc
depends
Raiders.
on I'm guessing this game's going to have some kind of season pass or something like that.
It does. It's got like a season pass, but like Battlefield, some of it is free, some of it is not, and you have to pay for a premium sort of pass. But at the moment, it's all cosmetics, and just my gun looks more purple than your gun. My gun's got stripes on and your gun doesn't. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everything so far, and you know, the new map that's going to come out is free. You don't have to engage with any additional costs, at least past the base game, to still be able to play the same as everyone else, because there's no advantage just because of cosmetics, unless for some reason one cosmetic is slightly more camouflaged.
Snoop Dogg skin.
Yeah.
Or the group skin in not GTA, Call of Duty that nobody could see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be
Gave
what's
you
his
a
fame?
tactical advantage.
It'd be Keanu Reeves from Cyberpunk, because it's a similar sort of aesthetic. It'd be his character from Cyberpunk and things like that will come over, obviously.
Silverhand.
Johnny Silverhand. Yes, yes.
What are you shooting in this game? Apart from the other people, you said that there was like
So there are.
bots and stuff like
So
that.
yeah. There's the main enemy are basically robots.
That's
so
so unimaginative.
There's a bunch of robots. They're humanoid.
I thought it was going to be like
humanoid
some
robots.
animals or something.
Well, there's a few bugs. There's a few like
some
You mean bugs in the code of the robots?
Well, mate,
What is it,
that
like
is,
giant moths and stuff like
mate,
that?
that's
'Cause
one.
a bit
So,
more exciting.
moths is one of the sort of like signature aesthetics of Marathon,
Oh,
because
is it?
they have basically said that the runners. So you are your brain, right, and you get into a runner's body,
Mhm.
and the runner is just a shell. It's like Ghost in the Shell, ultimately.
Yeah.
But the runner is a synthetic item made by their version of silkworms. And so moths are this very
Yeah.
iconographic
Iconic.
sort of element to it. So the loading screens, loads of moths everywhere, mate.
Okay.
If a giant moth was there, I'd fucking shoot it. Absolutely.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's robots, and the bugs are they're like ticks, but just compared to me, this sort of size.
So
sort
there's
of
something
ticks.
else in robots, because I was like, it sort of looks like is it Arrival or Annihilation? Which movie is that? The really colourful one where they're trapped in the time sinking
don't
forest
know.
or whatever. Is it Annihilation? It might be that one.
I think so, right?
Was that Natalie Portman or something?
Natalie Portman's the Annihilation.
Oh.
Arrival is what's her name? The redhead.
Yeah, with the talking future language aliens.
Yeah. Annihilation is the Natalie
Um,
Portman movie in the
Alien
forest.
Element as
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, a bit colourful, Annihilation-esque. Have some bears or something like that. But
Well-
if there are bugs, okay. Because I thought, because
So
just robots.
I've also only so far. So the game has 3 maps at the moment. I have only played on the first map because all of the missions that I have, or I can't remember what they're called, contracts that I've been doing have been based on that map. So I haven't gone on to the next one. I think the first one is Perimeter, which I've been playing on. The second one is called Dire Marsh. I haven't delved into that one yet. So whether there are different enemies there, potentially. And there'll be different enemies as sort of if you go through the maps. Maybe, but I'm not sure. Because I haven't played them yet. So, at the moment, it's just robots. But there's stealth robots, there's tank robots, there's shooty robots, there's fast robots. There's a few different robots.
Yeah, so from what I've read, there's like a tank, a healer, a assassin-y ninja-y thing.
Like a stealth character, yeah.
Yeah, a stealth character, a thief, and a like
Mage.
agile sort of double jumper.
Yes. Yeah.
How do the classes like that? They sound like they are significantly different from each other. So is this like TF2 or more like Battlefield classes where like some of the classes are you have a couple things that you will need to be a good squad teammate, but ultimately if you're facing down people, you've got the gun, you're shooting the person.
So a little bit of both. I think you do have there's things like the medic can throw out drones which will top up your health after you've sort of been shot, or they can heal you from sort of distance, and the tank has a big shield so you can kind of hide behind them as you're moving forward through sort of corridors, because there's lots of buildings in this, so there's lots of sort of in-room fighting and things as well. And I have played so far as the sort of DPS kind of jumpy jump character whose name escapes me at the moment, but the ability is that essentially you have a giant cannon that you can fire, and then your major ability is that you can boost your agility, so you can move about that a little bit quicker. You don't. So there's a resource in this called overheating, and the more that you sprint or double jump or slide, you overheat quicker. And once that hits the top, you basically are just
called the runner overheats when you run.
Absolutely, exactly.
Seems like a design flaw.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff which can pull that down or make the bar raise less or not as quickly. So it's I've not tried the other runners really, apart from the tank, because that's the one that you start off with in the tutorial, and didn't kind of like it and thought I want to try something completely different to start with. I'm going to use this one. Tired it, or it seems like it's the DPS move fast around kind of class, and I've stuck with it because I know the abilities. I sort of know the limitations of it and how to move around the map and how to flank people and when to use my kind of overpowered weapons and those kinds of things. So there's not, like Battlefield, any ties to guns. So your ability, you can use any gun that you find, or you don't suddenly go, oh, I'm this class, so I've got to use an assault rifle, I've got to use an SMG, or those kinds of things. That's not tied to the runners, which is great because you can kind of pick any weapon up if you find one and just use it. But it's almost in the middle of that like hero shooter sort of thing, where the runners have their abilities. None of them really tie together across, but if you've got a medic and you've got a tank and you've got a bit of movement, or you've got a bit of stealth, that's probably a pretty good team to be able to sort of have a range of abilities to take on other players. Like if you're all one class, or all three of you are one runner, I mean, maybe you're at a slight disadvantage, but I don't really know.
The odds of you having the same loadout, so like you could have 3 Vandals, but one of you's got an SMG, one's got a sniper rifle, and one's an idiot who just uses the knife.
Yeah, or just the pistol constantly. They put a sidearm in their main slot, just like I've had that. I've absolutely had that where someone just starts, and I mean, when you start, depending on what's in your vault, what equipment you have to be able to start with, that's what you start with. So actually, if you've had a bad, if you had a string of bad runs, absolutely, you will have a bunch of lower weapons, and you'll want to get in and then shoot some of the robots to be able to take their guns. So you pick up an LMG or you pick up an assault rifle or something like that. And if you're with 2 other people who are reasonably well geared, then you're going to be able to do that. But I've had games where someone with a pistol's just run off in a completely opposite direction to everybody else, and they're dead within like a minute. So
Can't save those people.
Yeah, you can't save those people, but they will learn, and I think that's the thing about marathon.
They might not.
Yeah. We'll do it again.
But
They
it's
might
okay.
just do it again and then go, "This game's not for me," and never play again. But at least they're being culled. And you will get to that point in a month's time where you're left with however many players across the platforms who are the ones that are going to want to keep playing.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this has intrigued me.
I'd like a very in-depth discussion now of how this relates to original Marathon.
Apart from in lore, no way whatsoever.
I want to know all the lore. I want to know all the lore
to be
of
honest,
the original
this is
game.
one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that even people who are like, I like extraction shooters, but like, I kind of wish this was a different game because I want to deep dive into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like, not only is it like, this is like the sentiment I've read a few different people have this like, I wish there was a way of interacting with this world. They've seemed to put a lot of effort into it, but like,
well, you can get the concept art
genre.
book. Yes.
Or two,
and the web series and the comic.
Yeah. But like, you might not want to do an extraction shooter, but also because you are doing extraction shooter stuff, there's only so much you can absorb of the lore. Like, the game is literally designed as a trade-off between learning about the world and getting dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that is super interesting. And like I said, I'm like, oh, I didn't play the original Marathon, but I've heard a lot of people say similar things to what Ben was saying, which was like, this is actually super immersive and like intriguing, and if they can keep that up, and given that like, it's not like I thought Destiny's plot was amazing, but the world building I legitimately liked. Like, I played in that like 6-month period where I played a reasonable amount of Destiny. A lot of it was me soloing the early content and trying to like do every little bit because I just wanted to learn more about the world, and I was taking my time through the main plot, which obviously no one else was really doing, right? And so I was catching up, and then when Destiny 2 came out, and I didn't, and then it got cheap. And it used to be you could get like a bit of a speed run through Destiny 1's plot and the early seasons. And then they just like, I got it for free, I think. And then it turns out on that update, they were like, you don't get to do early seasons anymore. You start here at this new season's plot. I'm like,
yeah.
I played it. I'm like, yeah, no, I can tell I'm missing stuff. And you literally deleted these parts of the game.
Yeah.
Guess
You
I'm
wanted to
out,
see what
bros.
Paul McCartney was all about, didn't you?
Yeah. For anyone that wants to, Marathon, which is now called Classic Marathon 2, and
I thought he was going to say Snickers, though.
Yeah, Classic Marathon Infinity are all free on Steam.
Wait, what?
So the 3 original Marathon games are free on
Steam.
Steam.
To never be touched.
But they're just... I don't know whether... Is Marathon just a Doom clone? Or did it come out...
Marathon?
Yeah. Came out after Doom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, not even Doom. It's not even Doom. It must be a Wolfenstein. Right? It's like more of a Wolfenstein.
Yeah, so Doom was 92, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or 93, one of the two. Yeah.
I think the original Marathon looks more like a Wolfenstein clone than a Doom clone necessarily. But semantics. Yeah. It's that kind of game. But they've got that and the second game and then the third game all on Steam for free at the moment.
That's
so
cool.
you can get a bit more into the lore. And Marathon 2026 is a first-person shooter. But I think that's where the similarities end. Yeah. Which is fine. They've made a new game for
Yeah,
for now.
it's just I don't understand why they name their games things that are just not optimized for
thing.
SEO.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Search for marathon on the internet.
like Marathon and Destiny and Halo. It's like nobody can. Well, Halo blew up, but it's like no one's meant to know that. You know, searching for Destiny.
Absolutely.
You probably hit on Destiny's Child quicker than the game, so it's like, yeah.
Well, isn't that
Marathon's
what
just gonna be like Destiny's Child, yeah.
Well, Tarkov and Destiny's Child, I guess.
Or it's just a bunch of tarot reading when you try and search for Destiny. Marathon, yes. You try and search for that, and I imagine the SEO is not kind.
Yeah, it came up with the London Marathon.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can imagine that's an issue for them, perhaps. But you make a game in the 90s and excuse me, and decide to reuse the IP. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the 90s, right? There wasn't really an SEO.
Yeah. Nobody was searching
whatever the
marathon.
Fuck you want.
Yeah.
Conquer's Bad Fur Day. That wasn't.
That's
98?
good. Yeah.
But I'll finish on Marathon.
Okay.
The one thing I will just highlight is that this, whilst the aesthetic is very, very colourful and a bit all over the place. And I like it. I like the aesthetic. I like that visual absurdity that it's kind of got to it. Graphically, this game is phenomenal. Like the lighting and the weather effects and the guns, the way that they fire. Visually, or graphically, it's beautiful. Like we play a map and it will just have a bunch of low fog, and the draw distance obviously is a lot closer because it's fog everywhere. But it will start to dissipate, and you start to sort of see more, and then the rain will come in. It's like, fucking hell, this is so good. Just the way it looks and the changing environments, how it sort of adapts and changes, it just works really, really well. So it looks beautiful, and it absolutely affects like how you're approaching different scenarios. Because if there's fog everywhere, you're like, well, we've got to be a bit more cautious. I can't see things over there. I've got to go slower. And you can be thrown in a map and suddenly there's like lightning strikes everywhere. And you don't want to be in this sort of like highlighted zone because the lightning, I've not been hit by it. So I don't know whether you can be in it, whether it does anything to you. But visually, it very much tells you, do not be here. Lightning is about to smash the ground to pieces. So it's just got this beautiful graphical quality to it as well. That and Bungie have been making this for what, 3-4 years probably, and you can tell that there's so much. It's 4 maps, so there's not a huge amount of environments to build, but they have spent so much time on the lighting, the weather effects, the feel, the atmosphere of this game is something else, and very impressive for a run-based game as well. That obviously you go into this map, and I assume if it's fog for everyone. That's just the world code that you are in, and everyone is experiencing that at that time. And then you can go in and it will be rain and lightning and all of these kinds of things. Or you go in and it's nice and clear, and everyone can just see everybody running around. But that works so well. And it's so like when you're moving through buildings, moving through rooms and corridors and things, again, you're not getting natural light in. So the artificial lighting within the rooms works really well. And actually there's lovely dark spaces, and it makes the HDR on the telly work really fucking hard. That I'm like, this is why I have this kind of telly. This is like one of the first games where actually these things are making much more sense in terms of the range that it can
Oh,
actually sort
yeah.
of pick up
I
on.
haven't thought of HDR in about 10 years.
No one. It's just become a bit of a like, oh yeah, it's a bit black. It's a bit blacker down here. That's fine.
Yeah.
But this really uses it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So that's it. Half an hour on marathon. There we go. Which is about as long as I played the game. It's not.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like on a game like that, we should be like speaking for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably. Hey, how many miles is a marathon? No,
28?
26.
28, 26?
Point
I don't
2
know.
or
What
something.
the fuck do I look like? A
Oh.
person who exercises?
I think it's 26.2, maybe.
We'll return. I'll return to marathon at some point in the future when I've had more time in it. And I mean, even if it's just to say, actually, something else came out and I've been playing that instead. But we'll
26 miles, 385 yards.
Okay. Pretty close then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry, Ben.
No. I'm
you
done.
You were trying to properly wrap up, and I was like, I need to know this stupid fact, and I saw it, and I'll say it out loud.
I mean,
you have intrigued me. I wish I wasn't in the point where I'm packing up the house for the move in the next week, and also having, as we spoke about last week, possibly Bjorked my setup, because if I knew that the machine would boot, I would probably end up buying it, being like, okay, well, I move, I will just plug it in and start playing game. And now it's like, I can't justify buying a game and then moving in, actually like putting PC back together, finding out it doesn't work, and then magically finding the time to order parts, and especially in this economy.
Did you say Bjorked rather than
Yes,
Borked?
I did. I said Bjorked.
I
Is
mean,
this not the first time I've said this? This goes back to like, I think junior high maybe. My buddy Ian always used to say Bjorked. Yeah.
Okay.
Getting confused with the singer, I assume.
No, on purpose, because Bjorked was like internet slang, and he'd be like Bjorked. I tend not to use it all of the time, but if it's an esoteric borking, I think it's a Bjork.
If you borked it in a particularly stupid
Whimsical way?
then yeah.
Whimsical or just bizarre.
Whimsical,
yeah.
And it would be Bjorked, yeah.
Nice. I mean, it wasn't last episode, but maybe the one before that, which again was maybe mid-Feb sort of time. Well, actually, before that, early Feb perhaps. Didn't you buy a game as we were talking about it in that episode as well?
I remember the Drifter.
The Drifter, yes.
You were going to pick up, maybe. I don't know if you bought it.
What was it called again?
The Drifter.
The Drifter, I did buy it.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me. I'm installing on my Steam Deck after this, because it will run on the Steam Deck in a way that probably would have bought Marathon if it was Steam Deck runnable, and it's not.
No,
isn't it like
I don't imagine so.
Kind of thing.
Thing is, apparently its low PC specs are within the Steam Deck range, and the anti-cheat they use has a checkbox which would allow Linux through, but Bungie has just said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to check the box.
Oh, really?
Which is insane to me.
Okay.
Yep.
Strange.
It's
Can
like
you play
how
Destiny
they
on?
released Dino Crisis on Steam, and it has DRM. And it's like, so you can't play it on the Steam Deck.
Does it really?
These games are like 600 years old. They're older than the Jurassic period.
Single player.
Literally the best thing for the Steam Deck.
Yeah, but I own them on GOG, so it's like, why wouldn't I just play it on GOG at this point?
Yeah, you can play GOG games on Steam Deck. It's fine.
I mean, Destiny 2.
I haven't actually done that yet. Actually,
Destiny 2 unsupported on Steam Deck as well. So maybe it's just it's a Bungie thing, perhaps.
No. So Bungie. So I
yes, sorry, not just Marathon, but all of Bungie's.
Bungie just doesn't. They have a walled garden. They don't. They use the same anti-cheat for, I think, all of their things, and that thing for at least a year has had a allow Linux checkbox. Allow this to run on Linux kernels. It will still have to do the anti-cheat checking. It's not like it's like allow Linux to have the thing and they can do whatever they want, but they just don't.
Boo.
Boo.
And
Indeed.
I'm curious how much of that is the greater mothership, and how much of that is just Bungie.
Yeah, I don't know. Were Bungie owned by Sony when the Steam Deck released?
I think they were.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
Or it's round about that time. They've been
Yeah,
under
it
Sony
probably
for a
feels
while
around
now,
about that time.
haven't they?
Yeah, they have a couple of years at least.
Mm.
23
Wow.
maybe 2022, 2023
They
perhaps.
might be the next on the chopping block. Who knows?
I think they've already
already
already lost a
they've
lot of
already
people.
been fucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes, they have already been
Hasn't bode well.
quite
Let's hope no
heavily
one's a hit.
hit.
Let's hope
And
so.
the thing is, and this is kind of why I'm bringing it up, because it's like, fuck, I haven't heard someone gush about a game in a while, in a way that makes me want to play it, even though I haven't really had a huge pull to extraction shooters. Coupled with like the vibes on the internet, I'm like, I think that might be a game I could get into.
The reason we don't
But my current way
yeah.
of playing games, it can't run, and not because that thing is not powerful enough, because someone doesn't want to check a box on a fucking thing.
We know not to gush about games around here because you'll buy them and never play them. We're doing it for your own sanity and wallet.
Fuck you, Ben. What were you trying to do?
I'm really sorry. I'm only going to talk about shitty games from now on. What have I played that's shitty? Several things. No. Cool. Let's round up then for the evening.
I'll probably buy TR9.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy TR49, absolutely, of course. It's only like £5 as well.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
It's on sale right now. Yeah.
I have to go
my
back.
buddy
some
Finger
other-
apparently played it.
I've got some other cheap games to recommend to
There we
you
go.
in future weeks.
£5.30.
Mm.
TR49 is currently on Steam. So yes, I shall be purchasing that later. Wicked. Let's round up with our beers for the evening then. Aadil, we started with you with the twice brewed Fauna. How did you find it?
I will say I got a lot more raisiny and as I drank it, and so I think the like intersection of taste that was giving me that like Robitussin shock faded away. It still has a bit of that, like, if now that I said that, I can feel where those tastes were coming from, but it doesn't give me that immediate cough syrup. And the oakiness and the ailiness come out a lot more, a bit better. I've saved a few sips just for this moment, and it's really good. I would say the cherries have stayed the same, but the other tastes have progressed, and my palate's gotten used to it. So the cherries feel a bit more. It feels like a cherry ale, in the sense of like it's a red ale with stronger than strong cherry notes. Like it's got cherries in it. It's not just like a red ale that like reminds me of berries. It's got cherries in it, but they're not overpowering, and the ale is coming through. And like I said, I think what's helping it not feel like cherry beer is the grape juice that they put in is coming in, and it's feeling. I'm getting raisin more than grape, and that raisiny undertone is like pulling the cherries from being too full of the taste. It's rounding them out, and so I was skeptical. I think you could hear it in my voice and what I was saying before. And I like this. I'm not sure I would grab. I think if I was gonna have a second one, it would probably be like right now. I'm not sure I would. I'm not quite sure I would seek it out, just because it had such a longer than ideal acclimatization. But I think I would really enjoy a second one after the first. But I probably won't buy another can. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because like the taste profile isn't exactly my ideal, but I can see how once I'm acclimatized to it, it's quite tasty. And I just glanced at the can and reminded myself it was 7%. And again, none of that 7% is coming through. Even more so, I think, because it's a bit flatter. And all of the like alcohol-y signifiers are just like not there or perfectly melded with the other tastes. So it just tastes like a light red ale with big cherry, like with cherry as like a backbone, rounded up by raisin. It's very good, right?
Is that sort of combination of raisin and cherry, a little bit more like sweeter, like a bit more, or like a bit more like date rather than sort of raisin, perhaps.
I'm not getting date. Like it
Okay.
really feels like I think it's because the cherry's doing this thing sort of at the top level and is reasonably the same strength the whole way through, and then as the ale is curving out to the finish, I'm getting this like I said, this raisiny taste coming out, but they don't feel. I think if the cherries and the raisins were on a similar taste curve, or more, the taste like if they were much more close and intertwined, I think you'd get that date. But because I feel like different parts of the taste of the beer, and I don't get that like. Here's what the intersection of cherry and cherry and grape often tastes like, because it's not. I'm never getting them together in that way.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. But it sounds like a nice enough beer to seek out. I haven't had anything from Twice Brewed for ages. I don't think. You had a beer from them not long ago as well, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, they're one of the regular breweries that the Hop Knocker gets. So I'm lucky that I often get Twice Brewed, or I have the option of often getting Twice Brewed. I mean, it's also like it's Northumberland. It's not far.
Yeah, fair. Interesting. We got a few people in the chat actually today, and the Beer Jesus, they've said, they say that it's a rum-soaked fig flavor.
Oh.
I actually quite like that idea of rum-soaked figs in a beer.
I like figs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially like just that little bit of. Oh. Actually, I just want a rum now. To be fair, like I'll talk about the beer that I drank, but actually it would be followed up very nicely by just a little Mount Gay or something, just something nice, just to have a little bit of an edge to it. Because again, Double Dripp from Salt, it was fine. It's very juicy, but even towards the end, the tropical fruit was big. But that was all there was kind of to it. That piney finish didn't kick out much at all. There was a tiny bit of it, but I wanted so much more. I wanted a bigger finish. I wanted to feel a little bit of that 8%. It was nothing at all on it. It's a nice medium body. You think that little bit of thickness, that bit of fruit, I'd get something slightly more from it. But unfortunately not. Because having drank Drip from Salt before, that's a nice beer, and again it's reasonably fruity, and it's sort of a mid-range supermarket IPA. This is that, just with slightly bolder fruit flavors rather than it being a bigger beer. And I think I needed bigger beer, really. So I know it's a Sunday, but I may go and drink the Northern Monk double IPA I've got downstairs. Just to hopefully
just to feel something.
Just to feel something, absolutely. Yeah. Or just crawl into bed now and just not worry about it, and wake up in the morning and think, oh, should have drank that Northern Monk last night instead. So yeah, maybe I will go and drink it.
I will just say regrets are a thing you should question on the face of themselves. If it's tomorrow morning you worry about regretting having the beer, it's fine. You don't have to have the beer.
That's true. Yes, absolutely.
If you want to have the beer now, by all means. I have 2 tins in my fridge, and I realized that one's a Verdant Pale Ale that I just picked up on a whim. It's the one with the asterisks on it. I can't remember the name of it. And the other one, I was like, maybe I'll have a second one on the pod, because I once again have not played a game, surprising no one. And I might have that other beer, and because let's be honest, I will have a different beer next week. It's not like I have to forge the ones I buy for the podcast, because I won't be able to come up with a beer by the next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same, I'm not going to save the Northern Monk for next week. I will just drink it at some point, either today or tomorrow. Might as well be today, I suppose. Cool. Let's wrap up then for this episode. You can go, friends, to outoflives.net to look at all the things that we do, see the video version of the podcast, or come to Twitch, or look at our YouTube page, see the video version, and then see the beers that we have been drinking as well on the episode. Or listen to the podcast in your podcast service of choice and rate and review us if you have 5 minutes to do so. You can follow us on Blue Sky Out of Lives Net. Lucy, where can people follow you?
Just put Juicy Loose 9 somewhere in your search browser and you might find me.
Potentially, or they find one of the Juicy Loose or Lucy Juice or one of the beers that's roughly named very similarly to you now.
Oh, I've just realized what I'm now sad I hadn't thought about this a million years ago, but I know of at least 3 different Juicy Loose or Juicy Loose adjacent names of beers.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had been collecting the tins, at some point you could have 9 of them.
I have one somewhere.
I just mean because this is common enough that brewers come up with it, and I know there's at least 3, which means you could probably find 9, 10. Then you've got a perfect a profile picture of Juicy Loose 9, the craft beer, and it's 9 different Juicy Loose tins. Sorry, this is.
If only I had thought that far ahead. But my brain doesn't work like yours.
No. That means would I need 47?
You're so lucky.
47 Novas. I'm at Nova 47 over on Blue Sky. And Aadil is
at the Omniarch.
So go to those places, connect with us over there. Join us. If anyone's playing Marathon, let me know. Hopefully I can find a group or a team of people who I can actually talk to and coordinate with and play with. That would be nice. Otherwise, I'll just continue on with the randoms that I'm dropped in with. As we all do through our week until we reconvene again with our friends. For this week, thank you for joining us. We've been Tacked Up. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
www.outoflives.net